gbójúlé kò bínú. Ọba tó ní wa kò bínú láti pè wá sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀. Ìwọ la wá gbójúlé kò bínú. Ọba tó ní wa kò bínú láti pè wá sínú ìmọ́lẹ̀. Ìwọ la wá gbójúlé.
My name is Damola Adeshina. I am a performance poet.
Ẹ̀yin ẹ wọ̀ ọ̀kan, ẹ wo ètò lọ́wọ̀ọ̀wọ́, ẹgbẹ́ ogun Ọlọ́run Ìsáàkì ọba mi. Ọba ńlá ń yan lọ síbi mímọ́, olórin ń lọ níwájú, asunrárà ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn.
My poetry is based on my understanding of God as a Yoruba Christian.
Olùlànà, olùyẹ̀nà, olùmọ̀nà.
Many of the literary devices I use are traceable to various genres of Yoruba indigenous poetry. I have had cause to investigate and contemplate the original applications of these literary devices in pre-Christian Yoruba communities. This exploration has opened me up to an encounter with the intriguing understanding of God among the Yoruba. In this series of short videos, God in Yoruba Experience, I intend to present my findings and share my new understanding of how pre-Christian Yoruba people encountered and engaged God, the Almighty. We shall be examining the idea of Olodumare, the Yoruba notion of God the Almighty, and how the invincibility and ultimate mystery, agelessness and immortality, faultlessness and exactness, fulfillment and completion that surround Olodumare are expressed in extricable attributions and inextricable appellations, such as myriads of idiophonic epithets that the Yoruba now often use to describe the one and only God Almighty.
Àtàbàtúbú Olódùmarè, ọba dìgbọ́n. Òrúkú tindi tindi, òrúkú tindi tindi, òrúkú amòye àgbà, ìjìnlẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀, awọ kẹ̀m̀bẹ̀ ohun dùgbẹ̀dùgbẹ̀.
Cultures all over the world express the idea of a supreme being with superior capabilities to those of mere mortals. The supreme being is depended on for the improvement of circumstances in times of need. Some others promote the idea of several of such beings, each one of them specializing in certain areas of power. And yet some other cultures promote the idea of a single supreme being superior to all others. To the Yoruba, the supreme being is conceived as unmatched with no equal and unsurpassed by any other. Ọlọ́run, Ọlọ́fin ọ̀run, Olodumare, as the Yoruba refer to the supreme being, is recognized and understood to be transcendent above all. According to Bear, Olodumare in its pure form cannot be perceived by the senses or understood by intelligence, thus receives almost no direct sacrifice or worship. However, as the Eleda, we can begin to understand and relate to him. Early European culture supremacists misconstrued Orisha, which to the Yoruba are archetypal humans and major phenomena as gods. But to the Yoruba, the distinction between Olodumare and the myriads of Orisha is unmistakable. Olodumare in this light cannot be likened to the Athenian unknown god or any other European deities that promoted the polytheistic faith environment in pre-Christian Europe.
The knowledge of everything that the Yoruba know is encoded in Oriki, which consists of oratorial verses that describe a person, an object, or a phenomenon in a condensed, concentrated, yet detailed manner, with a level of exactitude that informs on their functions and attributes. The Oriki of the Orisha and that of Olodumare show clearly the matchless character of Olodumare, whilst they allude to the several characteristically human attributes of some of these Orisha. The Orisha have shrines, symbols, emblems, priestly orders, drum ensemble, dance patterns, devotional system, and days of celebration. But the perceived supremacy of Olodumare dictated to the Yoruba that nothing is good enough to symbolize Olodumare.
Ọlọ́run ìwọ ló tó sí, ìwọ là wá gbójúlé. Ọlọ́run ìwọ ló tó sí, ìwọ là wá gbójúlé.
Some of the most informative attributes of Olodumare that express the Yoruba experiences of him are contained in Odu Ifa, the specialized corpus that articulates the fundamental principles of Yoruba being. For example, in Ejiogbe, Adífá fún Ọ̀rúnmìlà tí lọ rèé fi ẹ̀mí ọmọ Olódùmarè ṣobìnrin, ẹ̀mí ọmọ Olódùmarè, ọmọ atẹnilẹ́gẹ́lẹ́gẹ́ foríṣà péjì omi. Ifa consultation was made for Ọ̀rúnmìlà, who sought the hand of Olodumare's choice daughter in marriage, the beloved damsel, the progeny of he who shields from adversity.
And in Ọ̀fúnkànràn, ọ̀fún kan bí iyán, ọlọ́kànràn kan bí ọbẹ̀, oorun ò ní kunni lójúkan òsì kó dójúkan ọ̀tún sí. Adífá fún Olódùmarè àgọ̀tún, ọlọ́mọ, àtẹnilẹ́gẹ́lẹ́gẹ́ foríṣà péjì omi.
Ọ̀fún goes sour as dust pounded yam. Olokoro goes sour as soup does. Sleep never closes the left eye, leaving the right open. If a consultation was made about Olodumare the transcendent, the fecund who shields from adversity. He is described in Odu Ifa Oyekumogbe as Oba Atoayematu, the king who set the world in integrity. In Ogodamorogbe, he is described thus in the following lines. Adífá fún Olódùmarè àgọ̀tún, tí í ṣohun gbogbo bí idán, kò mà sóhun tọ́lọ́hun ò lè ṣe. Bó bá ṣe òjò, á ṣe ọ̀dá, á ṣe ọ̀kan bí òtútù, á ṣe kàámú bí ọyẹ́, kò mà sóhun tọ́lọ́hun ò lè ṣe. If a consultation was made about Olodumare, the transcendent, whose deeds always dazzle, there is nothing beyond Olorun. In one breath causes the rain to fall, and soon after its dryness all around. Then all goes cool, soothing yet harsh like the harmattan wind.
Kò sóhun tọ́lọ́run ò lè ṣe, bó bá ṣòjò aṣọ̀dá, àṣekàn bí òtútù, àṣekàn mú bí ọyẹ́, kò sóhun tọ́lọ́run ò lè ṣe.
Apart from the portrayals of God in the specialized corpus of Yoruba indigenous theology, the commonest reference to God among the Yoruba is Olorun, which can be translated as the owner or the custodian of the heavens. Oni, the owner of, Orun, the heavens, which by virtue of Yoruba morphology and phonology becomes Olorun. The next commonest name is Olodumare. The etymology of the word Olodumare at present is rather contentious. Some have suggested Olodumare, one whose corpus of knowledge continues to grow. Others have suggested Olodumere, one whose corpus of knowing is attractive, inviting, and irresistible. And yet another, Olodu Omoare, one whose corpus of knowledge continues to grow and manifest in constant progress. There are other attempts at explaining the philology of the word, but none is as convincing as the simple morphology offered by the word Olorun.
Another name much less common is Olofin. To the Yoruba, Olofin is a ruler who is the custodian of the Ofin, the law, and inhabits Anafi, the palatial seat of authority. By the same morphological and phonological processes as explained earlier, Oni Ofin becomes Olofin. Yoruba Oba are conceived as Olofin Aye, the Olofin of the earth, and of course, they are known to be many. Some of these Olofin Aye become Orisha by virtue of their perceived superlative and exemplary management of their domains during their lifetimes. For example, Shango. To this Olofin of the earth, the Yoruba pay obeisance, kneeling, prostrating, and offering eulogy, despite the fact that they know that they often make mistakes and frequently manifest as mere mortals. The reason, therefore, that there must be a greater Olofin in the heavens, whose perfect order from the heavens affects even the earth, covering for the mistakes and errors of this Olofin of the earth. Both Olorun and Olofin place God in the heights of the heavens, elevated far above the highest known mountains, beyond the widest expanse of the domains and jurisdictions of this Olofin Aye. In every earthly domain of an Olofin, there can only be one. For the Yoruba, this is a matter of principle established in the popular saying, Ọba kìí pé méjì láàfin. There cannot be more than one Oba in one domain. But the single Oba in the Afi is always supported by various Ijoye, lieutenants, and foundational to Yoruba belief is the fundamental stability of the tripod, which is exemplified in the saying, Àrò mẹ́ta kìí dabẹ̀ ná. The three-pronged cooking fireplace guarantees the stability of the cooking pot. In the same vein, every Oba has its Otun and Osi as the two primary Ijoye. Many of the other Ijoye too have their Otun and Osi, suggesting a hierarchical tripodal arrangement in Yoruba governance system. Whether the Yoruba associated this tripodal arrangement to Olofin as expressed in Christianity in the Trinity can only be conjectural based on available data. The Yoruba encountered and embraced Christianity with enthusiasm by the late 17th century, justified by their philosophical understanding of culture, Asha, as that which is consciously, studiously, and deliberately cultivated. The Yoruba Christian convert added the knowledge of God the Almighty derived from the Christian scriptures to the existing knowledge derived from their experiences of Olodumare as recorded in various Odu Ifa. They must have been emboldened by Hebrews chapter 1, verses 1 and 2, which says, God, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. They therefore did not find any problems accepting the church buildings set up by the European Christian missionaries as shrines to Olodumare, even though they did not have shrines to Olodumare. And the shrines introduced by European missionaries were filled with books rather than what they were used to in the shrines of their Orisha.
The books they must have reasoned is in line with the character of Olodumare, in whose shrine books, being the symbol of light and enlightenment, are found. Olodumare, whose Odu is ever advancing, attracting, inviting, and manifest in constant progress.
However, a major challenge the early Yoruba Christian converts faced was how to marry their existing management of knowledge within Orisha to the new approach to managing knowledge with literature. Even though they responded well to the effort of the missionaries in developing literacy, they also continued their well-understood approach of managing knowledge within Orisha. Today, Yoruba Christians complement their knowledge of Olodumare with knowledge derived from the scriptures, accompanying knowledge from literature with knowledge managed within Orisha to develop cognomens, aliases, epithets, attributions, and appellations to Olodumare, thereby developing rich corpora of text in eulogy of Olodumare. This is but a glimpse of Olodumare, God in Yoruba experience. No names do him justice. No words can express his majesty. Akinkitan, olóko púpọ̀, olóríkì àìlékà, olóko tí ò ṣeé tú, tá mọ̀ bí ò ṣẹni tó lóko. In subsequent episodes, we shall be examining some of these limitless names of Olodumare, prompted by the Yoruba experience, starting with Oyigi Yigi. Oyigi Yigi, Olóruwa o. Oyigi Yigi, Olóruwa. Oyigi Yigi, Olóruwa